Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're making something really fun and unique. It's going to be a gypsunite tray with a fabric base, and I seal it with a UV resin for a perfect glossy finish. It is quite a simple project. It is going to be quite a longish video, so I hope you don't get bored, but the results do look amazing. And I can't wait to show you step by step how I did it. So let's get started. So what I did was, to get the exact shape of the inside of the base of the mold, I used the piece of foam that came with the actual silicone mold, and I put it into my scanner and I put a piece of black card behind it and I scanned it so that I got the exact size and shape of it. And then in Illustrator, I just made sure that I changed the size, because that was obviously the outside, not the inside of the actual base. So I just made sure that the sizing was right, but it obviously kept the ratio, kept the size and the shape of it correct. So I just cut it out on a piece of paper just to make sure that it was right, and then I saved it in Illustrator and brought it into my Silhouette studio so that I can cut it out on a piece of fabric. Here I brought it in, and then I just used the trace feature and it traces it, and that is what it ended up with. So what I'm going to do is I am going to now get my piece of fabric and I'm going to iron on some stabilizer, and then I will cut it out on Silhouette Studio. So I'll show you now what the fabric looks like and what the stabilizer looks like. Okay, so before I carry on, I just want to show you what I was meaning. So this is the piece of foam that came with the actual mold itself. So what I did was I popped this into my scanner, I put black cardboard on top, I scanned it, brought it into Illustrator, traced it, made sure that the size, because this size is actually bigger than the base that I'm wanting. Okay, so just so that I kept the actual shape of it, measured, make sure that the sizing and everything was right. I saved it and brought it into my Silhouette Studio, and I traced it with the tracing tool here. So this now is the fabric, and what I did was, if you are a person that has an embroidery machine, or even if you are a seamstress or you do sewing work, you'll know that in embroidery this is called stabilizer. It's an adhesive iron-on stabilizer, and if you do dressmaking or whatever, it's called Varline, iron-on Varline. So that's what I did. I have a 40 by 40 centimeter heat press, and I just put it into the heat press and I made sure that it was nice and tight on the back of the fabric. So that is what I've used here, and this, I'm hoping it normally does work, but I suppose normally whenever you are doing something that you are filming, it never ends up working out how you want it to work out, but I'm hoping that it does work out because I love this picture. I think it's really awesome. So now what I am going to do is I'm going to measure to make sure that our little flamingo is in the middle of the tray. So luckily these are see-through, so I can see there's about a 5 millimeter gap on the side of his tail, and then there's about a 5 millimeter gap on the side of his little beak, and from there and there, oh sure, oh isn't that typical, Okay, so I think we've got it in the same place now, and it's about the same height there. So there we go. Let's try not to knock it out the way again. So what I will do now is, because I need to get it from there to there and from there to there, when the blade hits the fabric, I need to measure from the edge to where I want the blade to cut. And I can see that's 30 and that's 35. So it's 35 millimeters across. And let's do the down. Make sure that it's in the center. I'll just have to move it over a little bit. Okay, and get it to the top. And it's less than 45. I'd say 45. Let's just say 45. So it's 45 and 35. Because we're about the same distance from there to there. I'll just make sure that that's right. Yeah, so it's 45 down, 35 across, and let's hold thumbs that that is going to be right. So I'll just make sure that it's down nicely onto the mat, and let's send it to the machine. Right, we are at the machine, and let's load it. Now, show you when you press send, it takes it to your next screen. So let's just change this now before I forget. It was 35 across and 45 down. And these are centimeters. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.5, which is 45, and 1, 2, 3.5, which is 35. So that is where it should cut, and I'm holding thumbs that it's going to work. So let's send it now. And you can see here there's lots of different choices that you can use, but I'm going to be using the thin fabric, which is your cotton print, and I'll leave it on the default, but the only thing I'm going to change is the passes. I'm going to have it go around twice, just so I'm hoping it will give it a nice even cut without having the edges frayed. I'm using a ratchet blade, so I will have to manually set my ratchet blade to number 3, which it is, whoopsie daisy, it's on a number 5. So where's my other ratchet blade? That was on a number 3. So you can see there is a slight difference there in height. Well, I'm not sure if you can see it, but so what you do is you will just change it, and basically you can choose what your blade is. On your the one that it comes with, which is your auto blade, I think it's called an auto blade. Yeah, auto blade. It automatically chooses, the machine actually clicks this over and it chooses the setting that you've got in the Silhouette Studio. So there we go. Let's make sure that that's in nicely, and it's on the ratchet blade. I've changed it to 2 passes, and I will now send it, and let's hope it cuts it nice and tidy. Right, I can unload it now and let's see what it looks like, and hopefully it's come out really well. Right, we've got it back on my working area. And it has cut it really nicely. Very happy with that. I want to just snip those little pieces off. I don't want to pull them because I don't want it to fray. Because that's one thing I don't want, is that I want frayed pieces anywhere on the tray. So if I snip them off really carefully, hopefully none of them will fray too far down. If we had cut it just without the stabilizer, I can almost guarantee that this would have frayed and it would have gone quite skew. But this, just as it is called a stabilizer, it stabilizes the fabric. So that's that. Now I want to try and get it off as neatly as possible without fraying any of the edges. There's one little piece that's come off, and I'm just going to snip them off. Right, there we go. So I'm going to try and be really careful with this and not get any pieces to fray off there. Right, so there we go. What I did want to show you was how perfectly this fits on this mold. It's exactly the right size. I'll try and lift it up to the camera so that you can see it's literally exactly fit. So it's touching the edges all the way around. It's not overhanging, it's touching. So that's absolutely perfect. So now all I have to do is go and mix up my Gypsunite and give it a pour, and hopefully, holding thumbs, it comes out really well. I have my cut-out piece of fabric that has stabilizer on the back. What I've done is I have worked out on my calculator that the tray was 192 grams of water. So this is what my ratio is for the Gypsunite and the water and the modifier. So I'm going to put my fabric into some water just to get it a bit damp, so that when I put this into the mold and I pour the Gypsunite on top, I don't want it absorbing too much of the liquid, because I think that might make a difference to it. So I'm just getting it saturated, all the bits and pieces of it, so that it's all got water. And then I'm going to take off the excess water, because I don't want it too wet, because then that will affect the actual outcome of the Gypsunite. I am only assuming, I don't know for sure because I haven't done any yet like this. So, and I don't want to touch it too much because I don't want to get too much fraying going on. Right, so there we go. It's damp, but it's not too wet that it's going to affect the ratio of the gypsunite. And as you can see, it fits perfectly fine and exactly on the lip of the mold base. Right, so a little bit of a stir. Now what I could do is, some people do it, some people don't. They add this to the water and then add the powder. So because I'm not doing a marble design, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to add some pink to the liquid, and then I'll add the powder. Now the liquid is a nice color pink now, but when I add the powder, it's going to dilute the color. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker. I don't want it too dark because I don't want it to take away from the actual flamingo design. So I'm only going to have it a light shade of pink. If you can hear anything, that is our little puppy. He's only 8 weeks old today. So he's a little bit vocal still. So that's what you can probably hear. Right, it's actually a nice color. It's not too bright. It doesn't actually take it down too many shades when you add the powder, but because the powder is white, it does take down the actual color. But I think that is a perfect color. That is going to be really nice. I'm quite nervous to do this because I don't want the fabric to move, because if it slides, then it's going to ruin the friendship. So I have to be really careful. So what I'm going to do is, I think that's fine. I can't see any air bubbles, any lumps. So I think that's fine. I'm just going to try and get quite a lot of the air bubbles out before I pour it on. I don't want to touch it once it's done, because I think that is what causes it to slide away from the base of the mold. I'm just trying to take away some of the air bubbles. Obviously I'm not ever going to get them all away, but right, so I'm going to swap hands here because I'm not a lefty. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly pour it onto the top and let it run down the sides, and hopefully there's a bubble, a lumpy. Try and do it so that it stays in one place. Right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edge it to the edge without, hopefully, moving the fabric underneath. And like I've said, I think I've said it in other videos, I don't like my I don't like to overfill my molds. I'd rather have them slightly below the top. Okay, I'm not touching it. Slightly below the top rather than going over the top, because I'm not a sander. All right, my baby, it's okay, it's okay. Right, so that is, I'm really happy with the quantity as well. That quantity is amazing. It's literally gone to the lip of the mold. So I'm really, really happy with that calculator. I have to give my son 10 out of 10 for that, because it's perfect, absolutely perfect. I'm so happy with that. Right, so I'm going to leave that now, and I will unmold it once it has gone through its process of getting cold, getting warm, and then getting cold again, and then I will be able to unmold it. So let's wait until it's dry. It's cold, so it's ready to unmold. So if we have a look at it from underneath, it looks very exciting, because it looks like it's right into all the corners. So these molds are amazing. And this gypsumite doesn't stick to the mold, which is so nice. Oh, wow. That has come out beautifully. There's a tiny little bit of seeping there, but the actual fabric has fitted perfectly into the edges. The edges are nice and smooth, and there's a tiny little bit there that will really be easy just to even take it off with my finger. That's how easy it is. That is perfect, absolutely perfect. Wow. My fabric that I cut out on my silhouette, cut it out perfectly, and pouring in the gypsumite has come out so good. I'm so excited. That is so cool. Right, so now I have to just seal it. I'll let it set for a day or so that it dries completely, and then I will seal it. I decided I'm going to use a resin on here as a sealer, rather than just using a polyurethane varnish. So I have got my 500 grams of resin. I use this for my earrings and that sort of thing. I have got the small ones with a little pourer spout, which is easier when you're doing earrings and things, but this one didn't come with a spout for some reason, a pourer. So I might actually make one on my 3D printer so that it is easier to pour. So I'm going to do a thin coat first of this, and then I will do another coat, and I'll just keep coating, because I don't want to make it too thick, because obviously it's not in a mold or anything like that, so it can't see the bottom of it. And so I'd rather just have thin coats and do a few of them, just so that I'll make sure that it dries properly, because there's nothing worse than having sticky resin, and once it's like that, you can't, it doesn't matter how long you cure it for in the UV light, it doesn't come right underneath. So I'm just going to do that one coat at a time. I'm going to make sure that this is away from the UV light because I don't want it to dry on the paintbrush, and then I will put it into the UV light. I'll do it for 60 seconds at a time. I might do the first coat 2 lots just so that it's nice and dry, hopefully. I haven't. Right, I'm going to do one more coat and then I'm just going to do the tops and the sides as well. I think we're looking good. It's reasonably level. Right, let's put that in. Right, there we go. There's the first 120. Yeah, it's really good. Oh, that looks so nice. Love it. Right, I'm going to do another few 120s and then we shall see the end result. So my tray is done and it's dry and it's beautiful. So it's all ready, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put little feet on. These are from a local shop that it comes in a pack of all different. It's got your little jelly type adhesive feet and it's got your little pads. These ones are rubberized, so I just thought I'd get those because they will be nice. I normally just get a whole pile of these ones. One's got lost along the way. I normally just get these type to put feet on, but I thought let me get, oh there he is, found him, he escaped. So this is quite a nice pack. It's got all different types of feet on it. This one is almost like a compressed foam. They're a little bit big for that, but those would be nice for like little jars or something to put on the bottom. So those are quite nice. There's those which I could use, or the smaller ones, and these are felty. Those are like a felt. And then these ones would actually be really nice if you wanted to do the whole base in it, if you wanted to cover up the base and use that on the bottom, and they're a perfect size for those trays. So there we go. Those are just some of the little sticky feet that I got. So I think I'm going to use, shall I use these ones? Yes, I think I'll use these ones. These ones I'll keep. Try not to lose the straggler there. Okay, as you can see, it's got its little sticky bits on the bottom. So I'll put 4 on here, it should be fine. Try and get them even. 4 should be perfectly fine. I could use my ruler to try and make sure that these are in line. Right, let's see if I need any more. No, those are perfect. There we go. Right, so there is my tray. I'm really happy with that. It's so shiny and beautiful. Right, so I hope you enjoyed watching how I did the fabric on the Gypsunite and sealed it with my UV resin. So guys, again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, like I said, and if you would please like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. You could even share the video if you want to, and that would be really great too. Also, you know the story. If you click on the bell, it will notify you of when I upload a new video. So until next time, have a great one.